There is a new scare emerging from the United States. America is confronting a new threat. It involves Chinese researchers and potentially dangerous biological materials. In 1 week, there have been 2 arrests. The latest case was reported just yesterday. A Chinese researcher was arrested in Detroit. She is from Wuhan. The researcher is from Wuhan. And yes, it is the same city where the pandemic began in 2019. Wuhan is back in the headlines now, this time because of a researcher. She's a doctoral student from Wuhan. So what brought her to the US? A 2-year-long research project. But American agencies say that this researcher had a different agenda. Yesterday, they detained her at the airport and took her into custody. And they say that since last year, she has been shipping packages from China. These packages had, quote-unquote, biological materials. At least 4 shipments were made in the past. And yesterday, authorities intercepted a similar package. It was concealed between the pages of her books. So what was she bringing in? What was the shipment? It had roundworms, which may sound like a harmless thing, but they can cause serious damage. They can damage crops and disrupt entire ecosystems. Also, you cannot carry these around in the US. You need a permit to bring them in. But this Chinese researcher did not have the permit. What's worse, when local authorities questioned her, she lied. That's what American agencies are saying, that she was lying. And this is not an isolated incident. Last week, 2 more researchers were charged, 2 more Chinese researchers. They too were linked to the smuggling of biological materials. And what did they bring in? A potentially toxic fungus. Again, this was shipped from China. 1 researcher has been arrested. Reports say she is linked to the Communist Party. Her accomplice is back in China. The US Attorney's Office is looking into the case now, and they have made some serious allegations. Their statement describes the fungus, and I'm quoting, as a potential agroterrorism weapon, one that can cause billions of dollars in economic losses.
Fusarium graminearum is a worldwide distributed pathogen. It infects wheat and corn and other crops. And it does have the potential to produce toxins, mycotoxins, that can impact the feed quality.
These incidents have alarmed American agencies, from the FBI to customs and border officials. They're all part of the investigation. As of now, there is no evidence of malicious intent, though. And remember, there's also a wider crackdown on Chinese students in the US. They're coming under scrutiny. It's part of Trump's trade war and diplomatic wrestling with China. Nonetheless, this pattern of events is worrying, and it must be investigated. Why are Chinese researchers smuggling biological materials into the US? The FBI has also raised this. The FBI chief, his name is Kash Patel. This is what he said, and I'm quoting. This case is a sobering reminder that the CCP is working around the clock to deploy operatives and researchers to infiltrate American institutions and target our food supply, which would have grave consequences, putting American lives and our economy at serious risk. So we have undeclared and concealed specimens smuggled across borders and packaged as research. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it is this. New health risks may not just come from nature, they are more likely to emerge in a laboratory. Even with the Wuhan virus, the lab leak theory remains unproven, but it has not been dismissed either. And that's because China has blocked access and refused to share evidence. So we may never really know. But here's what we do. Biological threats move silently, without warning. They may be carried in suitcases, in small vials, even between the pages of a book. And this is not fiction. This is the reality of our world. The US is raising its guard against these risks. The rest of the world may want to do the same.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka-charge mo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Skali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.